What's up, guys? It's finally time to drive the M4 for the first time in 2020. So this is the first time I've started this car since November. Here we go. Oh, it's not so much better with an AFD exhaust on it. So much better. Oh, so good. So today's video is not about the M4 per se, but this is the first time we've driven it in a long time. We're actually going to meet up with Mike, aka Autovlog, because we're going to head up to New York from Pittsburgh to buy him a new car for the channel. Now, we're going to take his lifted and supercharged F150 on this 4-hour one-way journey, and I'm going to be driving his truck back, which I'm a little nervous about. You know, it's super loud, so we'll see how that goes. So stay tuned. And just like that, we are in the Suzuki. Wah, wah. I've been meaning to buy a compressor for the house, and I think I may have to do that sooner than later. I knew that tire was suspect, and it had gotten a little low before. I had it at the BMW dealer when they did my brakes, and they said they didn't find anything wrong with it. But since the car has been sitting for 3 or 4 months, I probably should have paid more attention to it. So we're in the Suzuki. Like I said, we're going to Mike, aka Autovlog's house, and we're gonna go pick up his new car, and I'm gonna be driving his obnoxious supercharged, lifted, super loud F-150 back. It's about a 230 mile trip, so that should be pretty entertaining. So we should be at his house in about 15 or 20 minutes, and then we're gonna head on up to New York. All right, so we're almost to Mike's house, and I'm not gonna tell you what kind of car he's buying, but I can tell you it's at a Toyota dealership, but we'll talk about that here in a minute. So I'm not exactly sure where he's going to fit this new car. He's pretty much maxed out with space now. He's been talking about getting rid of the M5, but he still has it currently. So when we bring this new car home, it might just have to actually sit out in the street. Now, the reason I bring up the Toyota dealer is I've been riding dirty in the Suzuki for about 2 years, and the M4 can't haul my dirt bike, so I've been really considering leasing a new Tundra. Now, lease rates on the Tundra are super strong right now. It's actually $100 a month less than I can lease an F-150 from the Ford dealership where I currently work. So I've been looking at the Tundra Crewmax TRD off-road. So when we get here, I'm gonna have them pull some numbers, because it seems that different Toyota dealerships are offering different lease rates. So I kind of want to see what these guys have to offer, and we'll go from there. So there could potentially be a 2020 Tundra on the channel here in the future, but I'm not sure if I can swing the payment just yet. So we're pulling up to Mike's house now. We're gonna jump in with him, and we'll be on our way to New York. Should be an exciting trip. All right, so here's the truck we're gonna be taking that I mentioned earlier, supercharged lifted 15 F-150. You've seen it on Mike's channel a million times. You've probably seen it on my channel a few times. I've done a bunch of modifications to this. It does have a VMP supercharger and a Borla attack exhaust, which is super loud. So it should be a fun trip. Hopefully I don't get too much of a headache. I installed these amp research power running boards on this a year or two ago, and they're working perfectly well. So on the way up here, you know, when Mike was driving the truck, I was talking to him about maybe a big brake kit would be another good upgrade for the truck, because now the wheels are heavier and it's got way more power. He's like, oh no, the brakes are fine. But I can tell you, the brakes are fine for stock F-150. But with the extra 400-pound wheels and the more horsepower, this thing has a pretty long stopping distance. So if this were my truck, that would be my next upgrade for sure, would be, you know, upgrading the brake system to maybe either bigger calipers, bigger rotors all the way around, maybe just in the front, but definitely something I would look into. Yeah, it's pretty loud when you're accelerating from a stop, I'm not gonna lie. So now we were just on a long straight stretch of road with a bunch of red lights, and one thing that I did notice, or should I say didn't notice, is this suspension, the front end doesn't dive when you come to a stop, or pitch when you take off, which is really nice. It's pretty level the whole time, where the Raptors, the suspension's so soft, you could really feel the nosedive or the front end pitch when you're doing the starting and stopping. So this suspension, this BDS suspension, is really good so far. Like I said, we still need to get on the highway. We need to hear this thing roar. We need to see how it handles in the turns. But as far as just normal city driving, the suspension feels as good as stock, if not better. So I'm pretty happy with this BDS setup on this truck. It has Fox shocks, BDS suspension components. Really nice. Alright, so we're on our way back, and I think Mike wants to take a pit stop through Mexico on the way from New York to Pittsburgh. So he wants to see how his new car will do against the supercharged F-150. So I'm curious to see how this works out. Truck spanked him good, over 100 miles an hour. Woo! This thing is fast. That car had no chance. Holy crap. Oh, you got the jump on us. Oh, I got the jump. Oh, he got us that time. He got us that time. Huh. Wonder what he did. He did something different that time. It was much faster. Wow, this truck is fast. Really fast. So that was a 65 mile an hour roll start, and when I mashed the throttle, the back tires did break loose. The traction control was on, so it was only for a split second, but it ripped the tires at 65 miles an hour with those massive 20-inch wheels with 35-inch tires, and totally broke them free on the highway at 65 miles an hour. That's crazy. Alright guys, we finally made it back to Pittsburgh. Now when Mike told me we were going to take his heavily modified F-150 to New York to pick up his new car, I was really skeptical. I was like, between the supercharger, the exhaust, the big off-road tires, this thing's going to be so noisy, I'm going to get a headache and go deaf. And with the lifted suspension and the big wheels, it's going to be all over the place. But I couldn't be more wrong. The exhaust, I mean, it's loud, but it's a cool loud, doesn't drone at all, and when you're below 2,000 RPM on the highway, it's barely noticeable. I didn't hear a peep out of the supercharger, except for when I mashed the throttle in Mexico. Otherwise, you don't even know it's there. And the middle ridge wrappers aren't noisy at all. I was shocked by how quiet they were. The ride quality, the suspension is probably a little stiffer than stock, but not much. And on the road, it tracked perfectly, didn't pull left or right. It was really nice. Going to some high-speed turns, it was a little sketchy, but that's to be expected with any lifted vehicle. Otherwise, other than the ground clearance, I wouldn't even really realize this truck had such a modified suspension on it. But the BDS suspension with the Fox shocks is pretty awesome. So VMP did a great job with the supercharger. The Borla tack exhaust, like I said, it sounds awesome, especially when you need it to. When you're not on it, pretty quiet. So all those mods, that I was nervous about were non-event, and the truck was dead reliable. Mike made this trip once already this week, so we put nearly 1,000 miles on it just this week with no hiccups whatsoever. So all that stuff was great. So I was thinking to myself, if this was my truck, what would I have done differently? Now I like the lights, the headlights and taillights he put on. I like the grille, the bumper, all that stuff's great. I like the way the fender flares look, but I definitely couldn't have lifted it like this. Maybe I would do a leveling kit, but I got dirt bikes, a street bike, mountain bikes, small children. I had to get in and out of the truck, so a leveling kit would be no bueno for me. and I would have probably went with the smaller tire and wheel setup, definitely less of an offset, because I think these ones look borderline ridiculous. And then I probably would go with just a regular roll-up tonneau cover, because this power unit, although it's nice, the motor does take up some bed space. Oh, and I really do like the power running boards. That's a really nice touch. You can't see them when they're closed, and when they open, they work perfectly, so I really like that. And also, he had the infotainment set up modified, so he has a newer Sync 3 with Apple CarPlay. It's actually the unit's called APIM, Accessory Protocol Interface Module, which he had upgraded, which I really like. I would definitely do that if I had an older model truck. So all in all, this truck's badass. I mean, I love driving it. I was nervous about it, but after riding in it for 7 hours, we put over 400 miles on it. I was a driver and a passenger. It's great. I really enjoyed it. So you're definitely gonna have to go over to his channel tomorrow and check out what car he bought. I think you guys are gonna be surprised. It's not what you think, and he loves it. So he can't wait to tell you guys all about it. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Thanks for checking out my channel. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and check out my Facebook page. Have a great day.